Alright pilots, get ready for takeoff. Welcome back to NES Chronicles, the only channel brave enough to dive headfirst into the pixelated past. Today we're strapping into the cockpit of a classic, a game that had us dodging more bullets than Neo in the Matrix. I'm talking about 1943, the Battle for Midway for the Nintendo Entertainment System. Now if you're anything like me, the mere mention of 1943 conjures up images of biplanes, massive warships, and enough explosions to make Michael Bay jealous. And let me tell you, this little cartridge delivers on that front, even if the explosions are more, well, square than spherical. For those of you who might be younger than a fresh-out-of-the-box NES, 1943 is a vertical scrolling shoot-'em-up, a genre that was absolutely huge back in the day. Think Galaga, think Gradius, but instead of blasting alien scum, you're taking on the Imperial Japanese Navy in the Pacific theater of World War II. A bit of a history lesson with your pew-pew action, if you will. So, what sets 1943 apart from its contemporaries? Well, for starters, you're not just some lone wolf in space. You're piloting a pretty slick P-38 Lightning, and you're going it solo against a whole armada. It's just you, your trusty machine guns, and maybe a power-up or two against what feels like the entire Japanese Air Force. Talk about pressure. Speaking of power-ups, 1943 throws a decent variety your way. You've got your standard machine gun upgrades, spread shots that turn your plane into a flying shotgun, and my personal favorite, the supercharged laser shot that just melts through enemy formations like butter on a hot biscuit. You also get these special tornado lightning attacks that clear the screen in a glorious pixelated whirlwind of destruction. It's like saying nope to everything on the screen at once, and it feels oh so satisfying. Now let's talk about the big bads. The boss battles in 1943 are where the game really shines. You're going to be facing off against massive battleships, heavily armored bombers, and even those ridiculously oversized flying boats that looked like they were designed by someone who really loved adding extra turrets. These encounters aren't just holding down the fire button. You've got to learn the attack patterns, find the weak spots, and sometimes just pray to the pixel gods that you make it through. Compared to the other NES shmups of the era, 1943 definitely had a different feel. Games like Gradius were all about memorizing intricate level layouts and managing your power bar strategically. 1943, while still challenging, felt a little bit more action-oriented, focusing on dodging enemy fire and reacting quickly. It's less about intricate planning and more about pure, unadulterated aerial combat chaos. Think of it like this. Gradius is chess, and 1943 is a high-stakes game of dodgeball played with exploding airplanes. Now, you might be thinking, hey, NES Chronicles guy, isn't there another game in this series called 1942? And you'd be absolutely right. In fact, I made a video about it earlier. 1943 is essentially the souped-up, turbocharged sequel. It takes the core gameplay of 1942, the biplane, the vertical scrolling, and the World War II setting, and it cranks everything up to 11. You've got more enemy types, more power-ups, bigger bosses, and a slightly less forgiving difficulty curve. If you thought 1942 was tough, 1943 is like its older, meaner sibling who enjoys stealing your lunch money and then shooting you down in a virtual airplane just for fun. One of the more interesting mechanics in 1943 is the energy bar. Instead of lives in the traditional sense, you have an energy gauge that depletes when you get hit. Run out of energy and it's game over, pal. This adds a layer of strategy, as you need to be mindful of taking damage, even from those seemingly harmless little zeros buzzing around. You can replenish your energy by collecting special power-ups, but sometimes those power-ups are located in the most heavily guarded areas, forcing you to make some risky solo maneuvers. It's like the game is saying, yeah, I'll give you some health, but you're gonna have to earn it, flyboy, all by yourself. Now let's address the 400-pound gorilla at the top of the pixelated girders. The difficulty. 1943 is not for the faint of heart. It's the kind of game that will have you yelling at your CRT television, if you still have one, throwing your controller in frustration. Please don't actually do that. Controllers are precious, especially vintage ones, and questioning all of your life choices that led you to this moment of torment. But, and this is a big but, The difficulty is also what makes the game so rewarding. Finally conquering a tough boss or making it through a particularly dense wave of enemies feels like a genuine accomplishment, and it's the kind of satisfaction that only comes from overcoming a truly challenging retro game all on your own merit. Visually, 1943 is pretty solid for an early NES title. The sprites are detailed enough to clearly distinguish between different enemy aircraft, and the backgrounds, while repetitive, do a decent job of conveying the vastness of the Pacific Ocean. The explosions, while blocky, are still satisfying, and the sheer number of projectiles flying around on the screen at any given time is genuinely impressive for this hardware. Plus, that chiptune soundtrack, it's absolutely iconic. It's the kind of music that gets stuck in your head for days, even after you've rage quit for the 10th time. So, is 1943 The Battle of Midway a must-play for NES enthusiasts? Oh, absolutely. It's a challenging, action-packed shooter with satisfying gameplay, memorable boss battles, and a healthy dose of that classic NES charm. It might test your patience, but the feeling of finally conquering its solo challenges is well worth the pain. Just be prepared to die. A lot. Like, a lot. But hey, that's part of the fun, right? Right? Alright, Aces, that's our solo sortie with 1943. What are your memories of this classic shmup? Did you manage to conquer its challenging skies all by yourself, or did you end up as fish food? Let me know in the comments below. I really love hearing your retro game stories. And now for the most important part. If you've enjoyed this trip down memory lane, don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, subscribe to NES Chronicles, and hit that notification bell so you never miss another retro gaming review. Thanks for watching, and until next time, keep running, keep jumping, and keep gaming. I'm out.